Welcome to Way of the Brick. This is Jordan, and here we explore the possibilities of the LEGO brick and hopefully inspire you to create your own LEGO world. So today we are starting a new series called Will It Spaceship, and this is the MOC I created from set 71711 Jay's Cyber Dragon. And I would say this is a very good success, as it definitely looks futuristic and definitely is a spaceship. So in this series we'll be exploring the ways of the brick, so I'll be pointing out all the different techniques that I've used to create this model and show how I built it. So first, we will start off with the cockpit using these trans neon green sword pieces, which this is where I started in the build actually. And you can see that these sword pieces are actually bent at an angle to match the side shaping using these blue slope pieces that were included. And so this looks very sleek as I use all these slopes to come kind of to a point. And this does open up. So if we take off the nose, here you can see the swords pop up. And that if we open up these sides, you can also see that it can seat a minifigure on the inside, as it is pretty spacious in the interior. The limited parts in the set, I was not able to decorate it as much as I would have liked, but I did decorate the back a little bit using some black 1x2 slopes with the grilling texture and some of the blue wire connectors. So if we close this back up, we'll also see that a lot of this build consists of these big joints using the ratchet ones or the larger ball joints like I'd have over here. And the reason why I have these is because there's a lot of unique angles on this ship. And even with the floor, if I open this side back up quick, you can see that I had these joints to get an angle as the sword's bend down. So this actually raises up just a little bit, which helps with the stability when I put this nose back on. So, and you can see also that this door angled down as well, because it is also on these ratcheting joints. So I really had to get creative with those angles as I used them in there. And as for the wings, I think these came together fairly well. I was able to use some bionicle elements that were included, as well as the bigger ball joints. And in this case, I used them to invert the studs to get details on both sides, so as you can see. And that we also included a chain to link up the detail and include trans green to keep the highlights going in the color scheme. As we keep going on to the back here, we have the astromech legs in blue, which is a unique part usage. And also it does blend in with the shape of the wing very well, going into the engine area. And also I was able to stick the 2x2 round tile at the technical hole in there to make it look like an extra engine booster. And then now as we go to the engine area, we see I use some of the spear tips in trans orange here as some of the engine exhaust. So it looks like it's actually flying. And these engines also can move because they are on the bionicle joints that I've used over here in the wings. So these can move inward, giving a more direct power to the center of the ship, letting it go a little bit faster. Of course, this is imaginative play, but this is partially what LEGO is for, including play in your models. So now as we move these engines back, we also get to some more interesting part usage. On the top here, we have actually included the Ninjago life indicator element. Usually it's for just the minifigures, but in this case I applied it to the vehicle as well. So I think this adds an interesting aspect to the playability when exploring this within the Ninjago universe. And if we spin this back around, you can also see some of the stud shooters. And which is interesting is that I also combined the spring-loaded shooters into here. And now how I did that is using the stud with the hole in the middle to be able to do that. And if you were to normally stick the stud with the hole into a stud shooter, it won't properly work. But because I'm sticking a bar of the spring-loaded shooter in there, it will actually still function, as I'll show on the other side. And these ones are a little bit easier to find than just the studs too, so that's an aspect of playability I think this improves. And then one more thing I'd like to point out is on the bottom side, if we flip the model around here, is that we're using some of the trans green weapon pieces as some of the detail underneath. And we carefully flip this over. Now we will be able to see the bottom. So I was able to keep a nice and smooth curvature still in the bottom, which I think is a nice improvement compared to some of the LEGO sets that they released. So over in the bottom we have the detail of the wire clips there, as well including some of the black ingot pieces to keep the texture going throughout in black. And overall I just use a lot of nice slopes on the bottom by inverting the studs. So using this again, the ratchet joint, inverting the studs, keeps it a nice and very clean look throughout the model. So this has been Jordan, and thank you for watching Way of the Brick and exploring the different possibilities. And I'll see you next time. So I quickly want to mention that if you want to see work in progress photos of any of my builds, please check out the link in the description down below in the video, and you'll be able to see some cool builds.